Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna try to explain to you how to brew a very good Japanese tea. A quick presentation of Japanese tea. So it's 95% green tea, at least even more than that. The vast majority is sencha kind. So I would say there are 4 basic rules to be able to brew a good Japanese tea. Of course, every type of tea will be slightly different, but if you keep to that, you're good. You should be able to drink about 95% of Japanese teas. So I have here a very good Hanyama tea, Hanyama Sencha that I bought last week in Shizuoka, of course, Japan. So first very important rule, and that's a rule you can also use for Chinese green tea, any type of green tea in the world, if it's whole loose leaf, of course. You must not use 100 degrees water. It's boiling water. So boiling water is too hot for Japanese green tea and for most green teas amongst the world. What you should use is 80 Celsius degrees water, or in Fahrenheit, I checked it up earlier, it's about 176 Fahrenheit. So boiling temperature in Fahrenheit is 212 if I'm right, and the temperature for Japanese green tea is 176 Fahrenheit or 80 Celsius degrees. If you don't have a thermometer or you just don't want to bother with one, I do have one. I very rarely use it. I usually do it, roughly if it's 75, 80, 85 degrees Celsius, it's still fine, really. What you have to know is that when you pour boiling water into a container, like this one, it will drop of about 10 Celsius degrees roughly. Japanese use this kind of pottery, but of course any type of thick glass or bowl is good. Not a plastic one, but as long as it's glass ceramic, because the water will have to warm the container, and it will in this process it will use about 10 Celsius degrees, or I don't know, 20-25 Fahrenheit if I'm right. So it's just that simple. Take boiling temperature, put it in one container, and then in your teapot. The second rule for Japanese tea is the amount of water you use. The way we do it in Europe or the US is called Western brew, and we usually use quite a lot of water, maybe a quarter of a liter or half a liter for 2-3 grams of tea. For Japanese tea, it's much smaller quantities. I usually use about 10 to 20 centiliters maximum for 2-3 grams of leaves. To make you understand a little bit better the second rule, let's just go to the third rule. Very, very important one is that you must not brew the tea for more than 1 minute. For Japanese tea, you will do 3 brews of about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Why you must not brew your tea for more than 1 minute? Japanese tea usually has some bitter, astringent notes. If you brew it for 3 minutes, you will get a lot of the bitterness and the astringency out. You will also have some softer, more subtle notes, but they will be covered by the bitterness and astringency. The reason is that when you're using good quality sencha, good quality Japanese tea, there's going to be a lot of different flavors, very complex structure. If you brew for 3 minutes, they're all going to be mixed in the same brew, and that's going to be a little bit too much. So we come to the fourth and final rule. So when you use a teapot, the tea that is at the bottom of the teapot is going to be stronger than the one that's on the top. So if you use a mug or a big cup or a bowl that's big enough to contain all the tea from one brew, it's alright, because by pouring the tea in your mug, the tea is going to even itself. But if you pour more than 1 cup, what's going to happen is that the first cup is going to have a much lighter brew than the last one, and the last cup you're usually going to have some astringent and or bitter notes. And if you pour 1 cup after another, the last one is going to have more bitterness and the first one is going to be very light. That's not what you want. So what Japanese do is that they will pour a little bit in each cup, and they will repeat it 2, 3, 4 times, something like this, and it's gonna even the taste. So just to sum it up, First rule, temperature, pour it in another container, wait a few seconds, then pour it in the pot. Second rule, use smaller amount of water, about half a glass, 10-20 centiliters maximum for 2-3 grams of tea. Third rule, I would say with the temperature of the water, it's the most important. Third rule is do more than one brew, and each time about 30 to 1 minute, not 2-3 minutes in one brew. And the fourth rule is don't forget to even the tea between the cups, otherwise some of your guests is gonna have the very light tea from the top of the teapot and another one is gonna have a very strong, possibly bitter tea from the bottom of the teapot. So thank you very much for watching. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to write them in the comments. I will definitely answer every question on this video. In my next video, I'm gonna focus on sencha. Until then, enjoy your tea. This was Paul talking to you from Tokyo, and have a good day.